Very warm welcome. Good evening. Arnab Chaudhary here on my YouTube channel, arunfoot. And topics to discuss Indian football as well as the Euros. Let me change this outlook. Let me just put the camera a little better. Thank you very much, guys, for being back again. Good evening also from my side, Jenjoilian. And let's talk, let's chat. Things that are happening in Indian football and things that are happening at the UEFA EURO 2024 here in Germany. So again, a warm welcome to all of you who are watching. Let's have another session and let's talk a little bit about what's all happening. I've taken a little bit on the Indian football latest, that graphic, or at least parts of it, from the letter that 6 clubs, academies, entities have sent out in regard to age fraud, and being in touch with the All India Football Federation to talk about what needs to be done, what could be done, what needs to happen. I think it's a positive step. If you look at Bangalore FC, Dempo Sports Club, FC Goa, FC Madras, the Mizoram Football Association, and also, of course, Reliance Foundation, Young Champs. So for me, I think that's a big positive that entities are understanding. Some of those entities, of course, themselves have been in the past implicated in what has happened. So therefore, they do understand the value of a fair tournament in regard to that. So hopefully, better things are to come. At the moment, I would say so. So therefore, let's wait and see, and therefore, one of those few things which I found good. Shokasa sir, what's your take on the recent video released by FF of Kalyan on Dhanraj? To be very honest, I'm just checking. I've not seen the video, to be honest. Or do you mean the Dhanraj interview of Kalyan Chaudhary? I don't know if you're talking about that. Just Showcast, if you can explain which ones you mean. So just let me know. That would be it. So therefore, then I can try to maybe figure that out what you're meaning. Jendra asking, Manasa, is Changte linked to Mohun Bagan Super Giant? I think Mohammad Super Giant has been linked with a number of players. I think that Changte is one, Apuya is one, which I feel more has been a Kolkata media story so far in regard to being linked to East Bengal and Mohun Bagan Super Giants as such. So to me, difficult to say at the moment if anything can happen. But again, I always say in regard to transfers, today is the 16th of June. So as of now, there is nothing. At the moment, if I understand how things are, both Changte and Apuya are going to stay. But again, until end of August, football is such a crazy game. There could be crazy stuff happening. So therefore, that's my learning of of decades of football. So therefore, for me, anything can happen. So at the moment, I don't know. And but at the moment, I think Changte and Apuya are staying with Mumbai City. And there, look who's joined us from his condo apartment studio in New York City. Hiren, very, very good evening, bhai. Kaise ho?
Good evening, sir. I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm already a little tired. Too much of football in the last 2-3 days for me. Yeah, going here, going there, watching matches, this, that, everything. So therefore, but again, it's just the start. I think we've had a good start to Euros. I think we'll discuss it well, and I look forward to that. So therefore, let me go through some of the questions. Maybe you have also an opinion on that. Karam asks, sir, your view on Punjab FC releasing 14 first-team players. Hiren, very interesting, huh? That despite second half of the season, they were doing very, very well. Punjab FC has said, "Okay, bhai, coach is leaving. Coach seems to have been demanding too much, so therefore the club is released." And then they said, "You know what? We are not fully happy with what we've had. We want a stronger squad next season." What's your thought?
नहीं वो तो डेफिनेटली सर है ही, लेकिन एक चीज आप अगर मैंने मतलब देखा है कि मोस्ट ऑफ द आईएसएल क्लब में हर सीजन ये एक सिनारियो रहता है। अगर आप देखें, देर इज ए वेरी फ्यू क्लब की जहाँ पे कंसिस्टेंट एक टीम आपको एक जो टीम है वो देखने को मिलती है कि जो सीजन बाय सीजन एंड वो अब देखिए कि अब आईएसएल इस तरह के फॉर्मेट में आ चुका है कि यू नीड टू हैव दैट, यू कैन से कि एक 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 टीम के साथ आपको बिल्ड करके आपको 2-3 साल के लिए जाना पड़ेगा, तब जाके रिजल्ट मिलेगा। हर सीजन आप अगर यहाँ पे नो डाउट उनका जैसे आपने बोला कि प्लान हो सकता है कि दे नीड ए मोर कॉम्पिटिटिव प्लेयर, बट अब एक और सीजन मेरे को लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं वो ट्रांजिशन में चला जाएगा। दे नीड टू नाउ स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच। जो एक ऑलरेडी आपने जैसे लास्ट सीजन आपने बोला कि भाई सेकंड हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में वो रिजल्ट आना स्टार्ट हो गए थे। फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में देवर गुड बट रिजल्ट नहीं मिल रहे थे, उनको गोल स्कोर नहीं कर पा रहे थे या फिर कुछ यहाँ पे काफी क्लोज मार्जिन से मैच आ रहे। सेकंड हाफ में वो थोड़ा सा बिल्डअप हो रहा था, बट आप 14 और सारे के सारे फॉरेनर्स जाने देना, यानी कि आई डोंट थिंक सो कि देयर इज एनी कोर लेफ्ट इन द टीम। यू हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच नाउ। आप सारे फॉरेनर्स आप नए लाएंगे, कोच नया होगा, इंडियन प्लेयर्स भी काफी सारे उन्होंने यहाँ पे नए लाएंगे। सो आई थिंक अगेन नाउ दिस सीजन विल बी फॉर पंजाब एफसी। आई वुड से कि ट्रांजिशन मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा कि उसमें अच्छा नहीं कर सकते, अगर यहाँ पे दे कैन डू वेल एंड मे बी क्वालिफाई फॉर द प्लेऑफ आल्सो। बट आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं अब थोड़ा सा उस डायरेक्शन में स्टेबिलिटी में मेरा बेसिकली पॉइंट ये है कि स्टेबिलिटी हमें काफी सारे क्लबों में कम देखने को मिलती है। देयर आर वेरी फ्यू क्लब्स की जो यहाँ पे स्टेबिलिटी के साथ आगे बढ़े। जमशेदपुर आप केस ले लीजिए, जमशेदपुर आप देखिए आफ्टर विनिंग दैट शील्ड एवरी सीजन दे हैव चेंजेस, एवरी फॉरेनर्स, कोच एंड एवरीथिंग। अगेन दिस सीजन लुकिंग लाइक अ सेम। अब आप देखिए उनके जो की प्लेयर अच्छा किया जिन्होंने फॉरेनर्स ने और इंडियन प्लेयर्स ने सारे यहाँ पे छोड़ के चले गए।
तो
So
सब
again they have to
चेन्नई
start.
चेन्नई जा रहा है ना, so this is a
सब चेन्नई
total
जा रहा
exodus.
है। हाँ, total exodus. So I think that is the factor with all the other clubs. But I think पंजाब एफसी का मैनेजमेंट मेरे को थोड़ा सा strong लगता है. So I think let's see how they are going to build it.
Agree to that. I think Punjab FC came into the last ISL season not fully clear of what ISL football means to them. That was my feeling, knowing certain people were still within the system, that this thing is
Exploring that, they explore.
I League Saharo, and I think a lot of people still don't realize that the jump from I League to ISL is a huge one. It's a huge one. It's a massive one. Yeah. So I've talked about it on the national team perspective, but for clubs, you saw that Punjab FC initially were non-existent. Slowly they got in. I think the winter reinforcements worked. Wilmer Jordan looked like a new player when he came back. And the trio of Wilmer Jordan, Mehdi Talal and Luka Machin working, I think that was the big difference. I'm surprised that even Luka Machin has left the club, who's of course been there with them for quite a while. And I think a lot of people initially said, this is an I-League striker, he will not make it. So that's an interesting one as well. And so from that perspective, let's see what they do. I think the first appointment needs to be the coach. So that will be an interesting one. Who do they appoint? And then the second one will be how does the squad look? They've again looks like Vinit Rai, Ninthoy, they've got some interesting players already on their books who are set to sign for them. So let's wait and see what happens. Chetan Sahu says, hello, sir. Welcome back. Karam also asking about Punjab playing in Punjab this season. Karam, I've not heard any confirmation on that. I don't know here any of you, but to me, it looks like it could be another season Delhi. I think maybe next
Delhi,
season.
I think वो स्टेडियम भी कोई आई थिंक एएफसी अप्रूव स्टेडियम भी नहीं है ना आपके पास जो क्लियर कर पाएगा। पंजाब में आई थिंक स्टेडियम जरूर है, बट आई डोंट सी कि इसीलिए तो उन्होंने लास्ट सीजन भी यहाँ पे दिल्ली का जो स्टेडियम है उसको चूज किया।
हाँ. That's what I think. Shoka's talking on social media account where they're uploading clips of that interview in which Kalyan is blaming Stevach for making excuses and avoiding the blame. These clips are working as a PR for Kalyan, showing him as someone who's concerned about Indian football when in reality he's not. See, Shokas, I think that's those are the difficult ones, right? Because and I've spoken about this that that Dhanraj has given him a platform. And they're using it. I mean, anybody would do that, right? If one of the biggest Indian football YouTubers comes to you and does an interview with you and you can take clips out of it, you will do it. The point is, at the end of the day, you and I and hopefully other people know that no action has been taken. That's the end for me. You can talk whatever you want to. You can say whatever you want to. But actions speak more than 1,000 words. There's a saying. And the actions of the AFF for a certain period of while and it doesn't matter who have been the actors in that game. It to me has been very, very poor, to say the least. Again, Kollan Chobe could change things. He's the president of the federation. He could change things. He could take charge of things. But it is, to me, everyone is sort of doing this deflection job. Arey, main to kuch nahi kiya, wo kiya. And now even, with the technical committee coming out and saying, bhai, hum to pucho bhi nahi, that kind of a scenario. I think that's the biggest concern here, na?
I think now sports are out, and both the parties have cleared their opinion. Igor Stimac has said that I will not resign. Whatever I said against before the Afghanistan or after the Afghanistan was just a statement. And AFF is also after the मतलब आप ये जो उन्होंने वीडियो क्लिप पोस्ट किया है इंडियन फुटबॉल के यूट्यूब चैनल पे, दैट्स द क्लियर वे कि यहाँ पे वो भी यहाँ पे जो हार्ड रूट है और यहाँ पे अपनी ओर से जो एक नैरेटिव है वो सेट करेंगे कि भाई ईगो स्टिमिच का ही इसमें मतलब उसको यहाँ पे बैड पिक्चर में पेंट आउट करने की कोशिश करेंगे, जो कि वो है ही, लेकिन जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन ये लोग अपना गलती छुपाने के लिए वो करेंगे. आपने जो सही बोला कि डिसीजन यहाँ पे कल्याण चौबे अगर यहाँ पे प्रेसिडेंट है and he can take the charge, but unfortunately sir, for that you have that quality, knowledge, leadership, and which is I don't think so he has. Otherwise this situation will not arise. This situation will be sorted out before. So I think that is the you can say कि most disappointing part. And उसमें कहीं ना कहीं मेरे को लगता है कि वो नो डाउट ईगो स्टिमिच को थोड़ा सा आई वुड से कि उस तरह से पेंट आउट करेंगे कि जहाँ पे गलती उसके ऊपर या फिर उसको स्टेप कोड की तरह दिखाया जाए कि भाई उसकी गलती थी यहाँ पे राउंड 3 में नहीं गए. बट कहीं ना कहीं वो अपनी भी गलतियों को यहाँ पे बाहर ला रहे हैं. इसके थ्रू वो अपनी भी गलतियों को बाहर ला रहे हैं, जैसे वो ईगो स्टिमिच को एक्सपोज कर रहे हैं. क्योंकि जो एएफएफ ऑफिशियल जो भी ये बोल रहा है कि इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में से ऐसा क्लोज रिमूव कर दिया था, तो आई थिंक सर प्रेसिडेंट का साइन तो होता ही है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में कि नहीं होता है.
Doesn't have to be. It can be the secretary signing the contract. Secretary has the authority to sign a contract.
Then अगर ये ईगो क्या बोलते कि कल्याण चौबे ने अगर इतना ही ब्लाइंड ट्रस्ट यहाँ पे अगर मान लीजिए कि किसी एक बंदे के ऊपर दिखा दिया है, then you have to stand by that decision also. उसके ऊपर ब्लाइंड ट्रस्ट है आपका कि भाई तुम्हारी साइन से सब कुछ होगा, इसका मतलब है तुम्हारा साथ है तभी है ना, तो तभी आप दे रहे हो ना. अदरवाइज तुम बोलोगे कि भाई मेरे को दिखाए बिना तुम कुछ करेंगे नहीं. एंड अगर आपने वो साइन किया है या फिर आपने जो अप्रूवल दिया है उस सेंस में, तो इसका मतलब है कि आप इस तरह के क्लोज को यहाँ पे आपने एक चीज मेरे को सर ये बताओ, कोई भी चीज से आप क्लोज को ऐड करते हो या फिर रिमूव करते हो, उसके पीछे कोई मोटिव तो होता है ना. बिना मोटिव के तो आप कुछ ऐड नहीं करते, कुछ रिमूव नहीं करते. तो व्हाट इज द मोटिव बिहाइंड दिस? अगर आपने इसको बिना देखे, आपने बिना लीगल एडवाइस के इसको अप्रूव कर दिया या फिर आपने उसको बोल दिया था, देन दैट इज द बिगेस्ट रीजन कि आप इनकम्पिटेंस हो. आप इस तरह के फेडरेशन को रन करने के लिए बने ही नहीं हो कि जहाँ पे इस तरह के इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन, नेशनल टीम के कोच के डिसीजन को आप बिना देखे, बिना यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि उसको वो किए हुए आप अप्रूवल दे दे, तो वो तो आपका ही वो यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि वो दिखा रहा है इनकम्पिटेंसी.
Yeah, agree, totally agree. And that's the danger of the whole situation, in my opinion, no? that things could be in a certain way they aren't, and that is the disturbing fact that people are still trying to create narratives. My simple thing is calm karo. If you're doing the work, exactly. You do mistakes, no problem, but don't play. This has become more of everyone is playing a PR game. There are too many stakeholders and actors in Indian football who are playing a PR game than rather doing the work. That's why I was saying a little earlier, I did a video also, guys. If you've not seen it, I've done a short video on the letter that has been sent out by 6 entities, which I find a very, very positive step. That people are realizing that this is a problem. The old AFF didn't act. Even I have raised, when I was at Round Plus, I've raised issues in regard to certain academies having overage players. They did not act. These guys are not acting as well. So therefore, this needs to be called out that whoever is in the AFF is not taking the necessary action, because who's being harmed at the end of the day? Indian football. Nothing, no one else. It is not those players. It's not the academies, the football schools, the clubs. Yeah, and it's not going to happen. I take Prathamesh's question first. I'll come back to the other things, guys, that you've asked. Do you think AFF should be self-sustained like BCCI? Politicians are involved, corruption is inevitable. Prathamesh, even the BCCI is politicians, and the AFF is an own entity like the BCCI, so there's no difference.
And BCCI में भी corruption नहीं है, वो किसने बोला आपको?
That's the point. And maybe it happens
And
at a much other level or different level. So therefore, these again, I always say is a lot of you make assumptions without knowing the facts. Please know the facts and then make an assumption. That a lot of people think they know what is happening, and I always say, sorry, there is a lot of things that nobody knows what's happening, because most of the people in Indian football who are in the know don't talk publicly. Even I did not do this for quite a while. I have come out and I need to, be speaking publicly about things, because otherwise those informations doesn't come out. Hiren will know certain things, or not only Hiren, but other content creators will know certain things. But if you're working in the business, if you're involved in the system, then you know much more what's happening. And those people who know, then they know, right? And that's the point. Arnab says, Germany bagging Musiala is one of the biggest losses for England. Good for Ronaldo. Yeah, certainly. Jamal Musiala, very, very good. Great game on Friday night. Abhijit has a small tip for you, Hiren. Doing stream because it's not easy. Keep it up, dude. So compliments, Hiren. So Hiren, lot of work. Sir, वो दादा
नहीं, this is important, sir. नहीं, this is important. जैसे आपने बोला कि आप भी मतलब पहले मतलब ऐसा clarification नहीं देते थे. But we need to counter these narratives. We need to tell people कि what's exactly happening. आप थोड़ा सा objectively या फिर sensible तरीके से देखिए, because these people can't run away and follow all of us. So as a Indian football fan, this is our responsibility कि जो आपको हमारे पास information है या फिर हमारे पास जो भी knowledge है, whatever we know, हमको उसको यहाँ पे शेयर करना चाहिए, हम लोगों को बताना चाहिए कि भाई इसको इस एंगल से देखिए. डोंट जस्ट ब्लाइंडली फॉलो दिस व्हाटएवर दे आर सेइंग. सिंपल एज दैट. हूएवर सेइंग इट. हम ऐसा नहीं बोले कि हमारी बातें भी 100% मान लो. आप उसको देखिए, ऑब्जेक्टिवली देखिए किस तरह से क्या चीजें होती है जो हमने बोला है, उसमें से कितनी चीजें हुई, उसमें किस तरह से यहाँ पे लोगों का स्टांस है, उसके बाद आप जज कीजिए. सो आई थिंक देन यू विल बी better understand the, you can say, whole scenario. So that's why it's I think this is
and also look at the track record of the people. No, he didn't look at the
people,
track
exactly.
record of people, what they're saying,
kya
bolta hai, nahi bolta hai, kya bola, nahi bola. A lot of people are saying a lot of things, but then do they add up, or are they just stories, or are fake narratives, or are deflections? A lot of deflection happens in Indian football because people want to be standing there good.
Track records and personal benefits. I think those two angles are very important.
Yeah, so that's something. Mayank asks, sir, Bol Dada Bol channel Nilanjan sir is not uploading videos. Why do you have Anita? Mayank, you have to ask Nilanjan about that. Again, work commitment and other things might be some of the reasons. But again, as I said, maybe ask Nilanjan why he has not been uploading videos for quite a while now. I mean, he was quite consistent for a while, and it was interesting, some interesting interviews, interesting stories, but yeah, sad to see Nilanjan not doing it on a more regular basis. Anub, I'm not going to talk about other people in that way. What's your thought on Northeast United regarding building? Abhijit, I think Northeast United are trying to build a team. It's interesting to see that Mandat Tamane and his people are bringing in a lot of people who have a BFC background, people that they know. So therefore, from that standpoint, they're trying to do that. So therefore, for me, that's an interesting one. And again, I'm sure Northeast United next season, again, they've kept the coach, they've extended the contract, some of their key foreigners as well. So therefore, for me, I think Northeast United will have a good team.
They are in a right positive track, I would say.
100%. Chetan says, Punjab can be processing land for nation's football development. How can we increase the fan base in the region? Chetan, I think Punjab has a fan base. The question is, a lot of people forget that, a lot of these northern states are quite big land masses, right? So therefore, you have this thing in and around Chandigarh, you have it around Amritsar, Ludhiana mein hai. Phagwara is, of course, very special due to JCT. So Punjab has always been there, and talent from Punjab has always come through, right? So it's not that Punjab has never been there. They've been there for the last 50, 60 years, bringing out talent. Not if 50, longer. I mean, if you look at Janil Singh, and since then, they've always had talent. So Punjab surely will be.
एक चीज सर और भी है कि कोलकाता, केरला, गोवा या फिर नॉर्थ ईस्ट की इतनी ज्यादा बात होती है या फिर उसकी उतना होता है, पंजाब को लोग ओवरलुक कर जाते हैं क्योंकि एक साइड पे. अदरवाइज आप देखिए पंजाब से प्लेयर भी काफी सारे जैसे आपने बोला कि आते हैं, एंड देयर इज अ फैन बेस आल्सो.
It's just that
ओवरऑल देखिए पंजाब इज ए स्पोर्टिंग स्टेट टू बी ऑनेस्ट. आप देखिए पंजाब, हरियाणा, देयर आर मल्टीपल पीपल इन्वॉल्वड इन दी मल्टीपल स्पोर्ट्स. ओवरऑल आप देख लीजिए हॉकी, क्रिकेट एंड बाकी स्पोर्ट्स पे आप देख लीजिए.
Exactly. Rida, sir, without knowing anyone, can GS remove clause from the contract, and how can GS just make a contract and give it to Igor? It's theoretically possible because it's his job. So it is, in theory, it is possible. He has the power because he has the administrative authority to hand out contracts. So I was discussing it earlier today with someone. I said, listen, it can be that theoretically he might not even have to have the signing of the president. He might sign it himself. So that is one thing where I say, I think someone needs to find out what is in that contract, because then we can talk about, who's handed out, who's done it. Because I think then, I think a lot of skeletons will tumble out of the closet. Arnav says Croatia disappointed us yesterday. I would rather not say Croatia disappointed. I would rather say Spain were very, very strong.
Strong.
Right. So therefore, from that perspective,
they are more effective on the final third, I would say.
They were smart. I mean, if you look at so far the teams, who've been good with their finishing. Of course, Germany was very clinical in the first game. You look at Spain, you look at Italy, also Switzerland. I know a lot of people.
They are very good.
They didn't rate the Swiss, rated Hungary higher than Switzerland. But again, I think Switzerland is always a team, even if it doesn't have those big names. But again, you've got someone like Granit Xhaka, who's been exceptional this season in the Bundesliga. They know German conditions. I think sometimes that is an advantage. Therefore, I thought Switzerland were another team. Italy came back from that win. It was a very weird game. I don't know how you felt, Hiren. I don't know if you watched it. But I felt that, there were moments in it where maybe Albania might have sort of, gotten at least a point or maybe stolen the game. But yeah, that's football. Italians are very smart in grinding out results, and yesterday, I guess, there was another example. Arnav says there can be tall players, but the major issue is the muscle maturity. This year, every players of certain clubs looked physically way mature in U13, U15. Agree, Arnav, but I think it's the overall features. It's not just being tall. It's just, you look into the face of a player. You see the physical build of a player. You have exceptions, right? You have exceptions. But if you see some of the matches the photos from under 13, under 15 matches, right? Some of the players look 20 and above, right? And age cheating is something in Indian football where it's not about 6 months or a year. 6 months, a year, even worst case, I'll give it a pass. You shouldn't, but I'll give it a pass. But we're talking about 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7, 8, right? So therefore, that doesn't work for me. And that is something which needs to be, if we want to...
but sir,
yeah.
इन एज फ्रॉड में जो प्लेयर एज फ्रॉड किया है वो तो यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि अपना वो डेवलपमेंट बर्बाद करता ही है, और इंडियन फुटबॉल को डेवलपमेंट में वो क्या बोलते कि एक हर्डल बनता ही है. बट जिसके सामने खेल रहा है उसके लिए भी है, क्योंकि वो प्लेयर यहाँ पे इसके सामने बेटर नहीं देख पाएगा, क्योंकि दिस प्लेयर इज ओवर एज इन दिस कैटेगरी. सो सिलेक्ट कौन सा प्लेयर होगा ओवरऑल नेशनल यूथ टीम्स के लिए, ये प्लेयर सिलेक्ट होगा. सो वो जो प्लेयर डिजर्विंग प्लेयर था कि जो सच में अंडर 15 था, उसको यहाँ पे जिसके पास पोटेंशियल हो सकता था अगर सामने फेयर एंड स्क्वायर यहाँ पे कोई बंदा होता, क्योंकि इसने आउट क्लास क्यों कर दिया कि इज फिजिकली मोर, यू कैन से कि जैसे बोला आपने कि यहाँ पे ओवरेज होगा. सो वो सामने वाले प्लेयर का भी फ्यूचर बर्बाद करता है. वो प्लेयर इवेंचुअली वहां से सिलेक्ट नहीं होगा. मैं नहीं बोल रहा कि उसमें से सारे प्लेयर यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि वो हो जाएंगे, बट जितने भी हुए, अगर मान लीजिए कि उसमें से कुछ प्लेयर यहाँ पे फिर उम्मीद लॉस कर देंगे, डिसअपॉइंट हो गए, सारी चीजें होंगी, तो इवेंचुअली उसका भी तो खराब ही होगा ना. तो दैट्स द मोस्ट डिसअपॉइंटिंग पार्ट. वो खुद का तो खराब कर ही रहा है, सामने वाले प्लेयर का भी खराब कर रहा है.
Yeah, exactly, and that's one of those problems, I think, and that's why I think some of these, I think what fans don't realize is a lot of teams in the background is there's been conversation going on this matter now for a while, and I think some of the clubs, again, BFC themselves have been banned, and they were not aware of those things, and I give them a benefit of the doubt, because then BFC is not a club who's going to try and do it on purpose. So, but they have now understood we are, and I think people are realizing that if we don't change things at that youth level, state, we can talk about everything, but we will not progress. We'll have the same conversations. You can record this, what we're talking about today, and then watch it in 10 years. Same conversation.
But sir,
that's the danger.
जो लेटर में जो उन्होंने जो चीजें लिखी है वो क्लब्स एकेडमी और स्टेट एकेडमी, वो चीज हमने कितनी बार डिस्कस की है, आप ही बताइए। कितनी बार हमने एज फ्रॉड के बारे में बार जब भी हम डिस्कस करते थे यहाँ पे, वन ऑफ द टॉपिक वाज ऑलवेज बीन एज फ्रॉड।
100%, Hiren. It is the issue here is, according to me, is that it is known. The key actors of this are also known, but again, the old and the new AFF have not taken action. As simple as, and there's proof. There is proof. If you want to, you can take them out, and they're the same actors in all of this, right? So, but the problem for the AFF at some stage was and is that even they are playing those players, na? Then the AFF gets exposed that we are playing overage players at under 17 level. So ठीक है, चलो, that's the
last year ही सर एग्जांपल है ना। लास्ट ईयर ही जो अंडर 17 हमारी स्क्वाड गई थी, वो स्टीव हर्बर्ट्स मेरे को बोल रहा था कि वो एटलेटिको मैड्रिड का कोच मेरे को बोला कि भाई यहाँ पे इसमें से कौन से प्लेयर को मिलूं, ये सारे तो 20-21 साल के, इसको मैं क्या डेवलप करूंगा। Under 17 player.
But again, that's the thing, that those who know, they know, right? Again, we were celebrating the 3-3 against Real Madrid. Do we realize that our team played a sort of a C team at the under 17 level, which is sort of a not even a serious team? So those are the realities, na? We need to put things into context, and that is something. No one will play the first team against us, right? I remember Stuttgart playing their under 16 and under 19s joint players. So under 19 का जो first team player खेलेगा, or those who maybe rarely play or never play, right? Those are realities, and it's not nice, but these are realities of how things are. Karam says, just to answer Chetan's earlier question regarding Punjab fan base, even village football tournament Punjab have 5,000 people watching it. Karam, I think there are a lot of these smaller tournaments across India which get a lot of fan following. I'd go back to Sevens in Kerala, Cape football in Bengal. You've got, the local football in Kolhapur. You've seen footage of 20-30,000 people watching it. So local football has this connect, which national level football maybe sometimes doesn't. Ridha says, can we make RTI for the contract? Ridha, you surely can. If you as an individual want to do it, please go ahead.
But I think वो सर वो देंगे नहीं ना उसमें। RTI करोगे तो they will not reveal the contract, I think.
You never know. It's a question of how you approach the RTI. I don't know if they have fully, again, that's the question, if it fully falls under the RTI ambit. I don't think they do, because actually it's registered under societies. But you never know.
वो RTI में आते नहीं, RTI में आते. I asked for the this you can say कि audit report, and they given it. So okay. they comes into the, but I don't think this is due to the
confidentiality clause. Exactly. So that's the point, right? There is that kind of discussion that one will have to find out. But yeah, that's that. Chetan says Wout Weghorst and Niklas Füllkrug are cousins. Nice observation. And Punjab is fan of proper academies too. Minerva, Chandigarh, Punjab, Sudeva, systematic scouting are providing talents, but should do more with the resource they have in hand. Chandigarh, yeah, theoretically Punjab. Sudeva is Delhi, it's not Punjab, but yes, they are. And you're forgetting JCT. Even today, JCT runs an academy. So that's something.
एक चीज सर मेरे को ये जो नहीं, एक चीज सर मेरे को एकेडमी की बात निकली है तो मैं थोड़ा सा बताना चाहूंगा कि नो डाउट तेरा मतलब मिनरवा हो गई या फिर सुदेवा की बात की, फिर पंजाब एफसी की भी एकेडमी अच्छी एकेडमी है, जिस तरह से उनके पास भी पूरा उन्होंने डेवलप किया है। सो ये एकेडमीज डिफरेंट पार्ट्स में होती जरूर है, बट एक चीज मैं थोड़ा सा डिसअपॉइंट इस चीज से बताऊं कि दिस एकेडमीज यू कैन सी कि export player from the
Just
import player from the
Hiren,
northeast.
just a quick update. 1-0 Denmark. Christian Eriksen with the first goal after 17 minutes. Continue.
ओहो भाई साहब, नहीं मैं ये बोल रहा था
What a story, huh? What a story, huh?
What a story.
Last time
Euro.
around, last Euro he was on the ground and fighting for his life, and he scores. I think, yeah, this is the story of football.
मैं थोड़ा सा डिसअपॉइंटेड इस चीज से हूँ कि ये जो एकेडमीज होती है, नो डाउट उनको खुद का वो बिजनेस भी रन करना है, सारी चीज है, बट दे मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लेयर दे कैन से कि इंपोर्ट फ्रॉम द नॉर्थ ईस्ट. आई वांट टू सी मोर एकेडमीज की जो वहां के रीजनल टैलेंट को ज्यादा मतलब क्या बोलते हैं कि वो दे पाए, तब जाके आपका फुटबॉल का जो वो है ना पार्टिसिपेशन वो बढ़ेगा. नॉर्थ ईस्ट में तो है ही है फुटबॉल फेमस, वहां के प्लेयर को अगर आप उठाओगे तो उससे उतना ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा. बट आई थिंक अगर आप वहाँ के जो लोकल प्लेयर्स है उसको, वहाँ के जो लोकल रीजन में अगर प्लेयरों को लाओगे तो फुटबॉल का पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़ेगा. आप देखिए अभी अभी कनेक्ट क्यों नहीं होता है, आप कोई भी क्लब्स एकेडमी देखिए, उसके साथ जो आप बोल रहे हो कि लोकल लेवल का कनेक्ट क्यों नहीं बन पाता है, क्योंकि वहाँ के कोई लोग इन्वॉल्व उस सेंस में नहीं है. मेरे यहाँ पे मान लीजिए कि एकेडमी है, प्लेयर सारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट से वो लेके आ गए, एकेडमी चला रहे हैं, हमारा उसके साथ क्या कनेक्ट है?
No, but
कोई
see,
कनेक्ट
that
नहीं.
is one. But I've said this, you know, when Roundgrass Punjab started and did open trials, 70-80% of kids were from the Northeast. And it was publicized 5, 6, 7, not even 7, 5, 6 days before it happened. So the point is also that Northeastern talent travels very, very quickly around India by train, wherever there's a trial with top level academies, right? So therefore, this is something, yes, local talent needs to be developed, but the problem is that, you know, I think Manipur, Mizoram have so much of talent potentially that they can, you know, fill, I don't know, 100 academies, let's say. You know, so
नहीं वो मैं उससे उस पार्ट से वो, हाँ मैं वो उसको उससे उस वे में क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर रहा हूँ, उनको भी लाई है, मैं नहीं बोल रहा कि मत लाई, बट आई थिंक आपका कहीं ना कहीं एक एफर्ट होना चाहिए कि यहाँ के भी जो रीजनल प्लेयर है उसको भी.
Hiren, out of one experience in a state like Punjab, it's very, very difficult. It's
difficult है. I know sir.
And the thing is, it's not Punjab is an example, but it's across India that you see. It doesn't matter where it is. You will have X number of players from Mizoram and from Manipur. Some have more, some have less. Local talent promote karna. Again, we are going back to the issue of with promoting talent in regard to saying that you also want to be successful. Right? For me, that is one of the biggest problems that we have in Indian football. That under 13, under 15, 17, 18 level, it's about promoting talent, or is it about the results? And very often it's about the results. So yes, you will bank on these outstation players to be, you know, to help you to develop and do it. But it's a very difficult one. Karam says, it's about the clubs to reach out to people first. They have to start playing in Punjab. Karam, it is about playing in Punjab. The problem for them is that Roundglass wants to play in and around Chandigarh because that is their home base. It is not Ludhiana. You mentioned in your next one, Jalandhar as well. First of all, Punjab FC can't renovate any of these stadiums. These stadiums are government owned. This is another problem in Indian football reality. So for these connections to happen, it is not so easy. It is very, very tough, very, very complicated, very, very complex. Shaggy, hi, welcome back. Good to see you after a long time. Not sure VARS implemented by Badminton Federation of India can really work in football. Shaggy, it's an interesting one. I was reading a little bit about it after, you know, the statement mentioned the statement, I said the open letter where it is mentioned. Again, the question here is there a will? You know, I mean, AFF, for example, has diluted even club licensing. Right? Academy, there's no academy licensing anymore. I remember when Roundglass, you know, we had the conversations wanting to play, how to get in, this, that, everything. It wasn't easy, right? It wasn't easy, and therefore for me,
but I think so. It can be implemented, to be honest, because आप देखिए जो वॉलेंटरी जो लोग आना चाहते हैं, जिनको मतलब सच में वो है कि भाई नहीं हम यहाँ पे वो करेंगे, क्योंकि इसमें आप देखिए कि प्लेयरों की वो आइडेंटिटी भी यहाँ पे रिवील नहीं कर रहे हैं. सो यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं होगा कि उनको यहाँ पे सच कोई ऐसा होगा कि भाई ये प्लेयर तो यहाँ पे स्पोर्ट के थ्रू खेल रहा था। एंड मान लीजिए कि जॉब अगर कोई भी नहीं आया, मान लीजिए कि कोई भी सामने आके वॉलंटरी नहीं आया, तो आपने एक डेट फिक्स की हुई है, उसके बाद जो भी एज फ्रॉड में पाया जाएगा देर विल बी क्रिमिनल यू कैन से कि आपको करना पड़ेगा उसको पे ऑफेंस तो लगेगा। सो आई थिंक यू नीड टू हैव द बोथ द वे। आप पहले उनको चांस दीजिए, इफ दे कम्स फ्रॉम यू कैन से कि वॉलंटरीली देन मोस्ट वेलकम, एंड आप उसको उस तरह से एडजस्ट कर दीजिए कि आप 17 साल के हैं, अगर आप अपना एज ओरिजिनली 19 साल का है तो आप अंडर 19 के जो टूर्नामेंट है उसमें उसको खेलने की अनुमति दीजिए। कोई भी बैन नहीं लगेगा, कुछ भी नहीं लगेगा, किसी को पता भी नहीं चलेगा, आपका डिटेल सारा कॉन्फिडेंशियल रहेगा, जो कि बैडमिंटन ने किया है। देखिए 250 से 300 प्लेयर उनको ऐसे ही, वहां पे भी तो एक ऐसा डर रहा होगा ना प्लेयरों का कि भाई अगर हम जाएंगे और वो होगा, बट उन्होंने आप देखिए प्रोसेस किया, 250 से 300 प्लेयर उनको ऐसे मिले कि जो यहाँ पे ओवर एज थे, बट उन्होंने वही अब रास्ता अपनाया कि एक डेडलाइन सेट किया हुआ है। तो आई थिंक बट उसके लिए विल जैसे सर ने बोला ना कि विल की जरूरत है, कि आपको वो स्टेप तो लेने पड़ेंगे। आप सिर्फ वो करेंगे कि भाई हम TW3 के टेस्ट के भरोसे बैठ जाएंगे, these are the all the स्टेप जो साथ में आप लोगे तो तब जाके
कुछ नहीं
आपको
होगा।
यहाँ पे
TW3 is not even 100% certain. There are certain players which are not 100% certain. And the thing is, I think Shaggy mentions a very good point here. It's better to get the coaches under the radar for catching age fraud. We should start with Subrata Cup held in Bangalore last year. At least this will force the coaches to stop the age fraud. I think, Shaggy, yes, coaches are one. I think the clubs, the academies, and the owners or the people driving this behind, those all of them should be, in trouble. And there should be harsh bans. There should be tough, harsh bans on these clubs, which could be, depending on what they've done, suspension for these people, suspension. If you threaten people in regard to their livelihoods, right? If you ban, let's say you're banned as a coach for 6 months or a year, tab tum kabhi nahi karege. Then you'll be honest. So these bans need to be brutal on these academies, on the coaches. They need to be blacklisted. And again, people know who they are.
नहीं, ये जो सेगी भाई ने भी बोला, इसमें मेरे को तो दो ही मेन यहाँ पे इसमें स्टेक होल्डर लगते हैं, एक ग्रास रूट एकेडमी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड कोचेस। ये दो अगर यहाँ पे सही चलेंगे, देन आपका 50% से ज्यादा आपका जो एज फ्रॉड का सिनारियो है वो कट आउट हो जाएगा। क्योंकि वो जिस स्टेज पे प्लेयर को पकड़ते हैं या फिर ढूंढते हैं या फिर स्काउट करते हैं, वहीं पे उनके पास वही यहाँ पे फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस वाले वो होते हैं कि भाई यहाँ पे 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 साल में जब पहली बार प्लेयर यहाँ पे कोई एकेडमी या फिर उसके कोच के टच में आता है या फिर उसके अंदर यहाँ पे डेवलप होता है, तो वहां से ही अगर उन्होंने रोक दिया, देन तो फिर कोई कहीं पे आगे एक बार आपकी CRS सिस्टम में आ गया विद द राइट एज, तो फिर तो यहाँ पे चांसेस काफी कम है कि आप यहाँ पे वो बंदा एज फ्रॉड कर पाएगा।
Exactly. These are the basic challenges. I think age fraud is a very, very important one. Devrov, which players are related to Mumbai? You didn't answer the other day. Devrov, I answered it in a different way, saying that I know certain players who are being linked to Mumbai City. I've got certain insights, and again, I am not going to be disclosing names. I think very interesting is, I don't know if you've seen it, Marcus in the last few days has tweeted about it, saying that, he will only mention confirmed transfers. So even Marcus, who is sort of say the transfer guru of Indian football, has now said, you know what, I am moving out of the speculation space. Other people are doing it. Marcus has come forward and said, and therefore I've never done this. I won't do this. Only if it's sort of somewhat confirmed, then I'll come out with it. But I'm not going to be coming out and saying, this player, that player, this XYZ player is being linked with Mumbai City or any other team, to be precise. The thing is, scouting for FIFA Academy is done from this U13 at this age, 2 years overage is huge. Will there be any kind of test in FIFA Academy for age fraud? Arnav, there are two things. First of all, there are foreign coaches. They seem to be better equipped of realizing who is overage and who's not overage. This is another thing. So we come back again, like the quality of our coaches or our scouts. You realize that the original round was a disaster because they realized is that either, there are two things. They said either the player doesn't have the talent to be a top class footballer, or they said the players are overage. So, but that's it's again, if AFF took anything seriously on this matter, they would have been embarrassed that in your first round of trials for this academy,
48 players, 48 players.
nearly all players that you chose have been turned down, and the academy per se is not running fully or in a proper way because you have done the age fraud. So that's the reality of the problem. So yeah. So therefore, let's wait and see where we stand. So ask now, sir, what would be your suggestion for developing under 10 player in India, sir? So ask the first question is, where are you based? See, if you are based, let's say in a Mizoram or a Manipur, I'll say put him into an academy, put him into a club, he'll get his exposure, right? If you, let's say, are based in, it's in Gujarat where Hiren is based, then you have to think to send the kid out of state, right? So it depends on where you are in India. It is not a pan-India thing. Either udhar hai and it works. That will not happen. So therefore, for me, so therefore, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. But to me, it's not at under 10, even under 12. You have to find the right kids, right academy for the kid or grassroots center to
develop.
To develop and become a professional footballer. I think that's the biggest challenge. Arnav says, can't agree more. Hiren, Punjab का हर एक academy में सिर्फ North East players है. 1% Punjab का है. North Eastern players sees this as a profession more than passion. Economic background plays a huge role. Yeah, agree. Economic, yes, but it's also is about willing to risk to go elsewhere. You will rarely see kids from Bengal or Kerala or Goa saying, "Arey bhai, chalo, let me go somewhere." That's another reality. Sanskar, I answered this that I'm not going to mention names in regard to who are linked with Mumbai City. Fiction Nerd says, announcer, do you think if the government increases the fund for AFF, then can football in India grow more exponentially than it actually is now? Fiction Nerd, I think the first point is that the government is actually supporting AFF to not even a minimum standard. So I would hope that the more they support, again, money alone is not going to make you world class. I think China is a very good example for that. That a lot of money has been spent by the government, and so therefore, for me, yeah, it's something which I'm not going to think that it's just a money thing. Again, I say leadership, governance, right structure, stakeholders. All of these are factors, but the government at the moment is not doing enough. Certainly, that's a fact. That's something. Parameshwar, hi, welcome. Shoka says, now, sir, I played Subrata Cup, which was, I think, organized by Air Force. Does cheating or match fixing happen over there? I found it very organized, but I don't know the reality. Subrata Cup most probably is the biggest age fraud tournament in Indian football. Sorry to say that.
Last year भी उसमें कुछ प्लेयरों को पाया गया था.
Normally, if you have, I don't know how many teams now take part in different age groups. Every team has overage players. And not even, again, 1 year, 2 year, ठीक है, चलो. हाँ, it is.
But उसी के बेसिस पे सर,
yes.
नहीं, आपकी जो एकेडमीज है अंडर 13, 15, 17 की, उसका फाइनेंशियल उसी के ऊपर चलता है ना. वो एडवर्टाइज क्या करते हैं कि हमारी टीम अंडर 13 जीत गई है, हमारी एकेडमी अंडर 15 में जीत गई है, हमारे इतने प्लेयर यहाँ पे अंडर 17 नेशनल टीम में क्वालिफाई आए हैं. उसी के बेसिस पे वो फिर ट्रायल करते हैं, फिर प्लेयर लाते हैं, वो करते हैं. सो उनका मार्केटिंग, आपने जैसे बोला ना कि दे आर रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड, दे आर नॉट हियर फॉर द प्लेयर डेवलपमेंट. नहीं तो इतनी सारी एकेडमी है, उसमें से कोई एक प्लेयर तो डेवलप हो जाता ना. वो आपने कौन से वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर डेवलप किया है? वो तो इसीलिए तो नहीं हो रहा है.
That's the thing, no? So therefore, and Paresh says punish coaches and impose fine on clubs, academies. I think imposing fines is one, but you have to have sporting fines as well, in my opinion. Sporting suspension and bans, and they need to be hard. If you do it once or twice, TK, but if you do it more often, then you need to be, that's a tough one to say. Which one makes the most sense. So therefore, there needs to be a system, but there's no system, there's no will to do that. Ochit says in West Bengal cricket, more than 20 years ago, they implemented a point system check age fraud at the under 13 and 16 levels. It worked quite well. For example, 140 points, 40 kilos and 70 inches height. Okay. Okay, interesting approach. I don't know if that works in football, Uchut, but I think we need to find means and ways. You know,
बट आप देखिए जो वो लेटर में सर, आई थिंक लेटर में जो 3-4 चीजें मेंशन की है, अगर उतना भी कर लोगे, देन देयर आर ए 90% चांस कि आप मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लेयर का राइट एज पकड़ लोगे। एक तो आप TW3 टेस्ट करो, उसमें 2 साल का एरर है मान लीजिए, फिर आप उसका मेडिकल क्या बोलते हैं कि हिस्ट्री चेक करो,
but
एकेडमिक हिस्ट्री
Hiren,
चेक करो।
I have in my, again, I don't know how AI and AI can be used, but I have seen that there are players with double registration in the system who are not part of the system. Suddenly they appear. So therefore, the
CRS
question
में
now is how CRS. I found themselves myself and handed over to the FF, but no action was taken at the time. So the point to me is that what will you do against these academies and all, right? So therefore, there are huge problems on that front. I feel there are huge problems, and to solve those problems, you need tough measures. Otherwise, you will not be able. Again, the suggestions of VRS, Ochut's example, like with cricket, of doing these points systems. There are, and then you have one or the other exception, and then you have to do testing on it. So therefore, it's something needs to happen on this front, because it's otherwise
नहीं
things
सर,
will not
इसमें
change.
आपको नहीं, पनिशेबल ऑफेंस तो आपको करना ही पड़ेगा, वो तो आप ये सारे चेक कर लो, एंड उसके बाद अगर देन समवन इज फाइन, यू कैन से फाउंड एज फ्रॉड, देन तो यू हैव टू, यू कैन से हैव दैट पनिशमेंट जो आप बोल रहे हो। अदरवाइज तो बिना, आप अब देखिए इंडिया में तो वैसे भी रूल होते हैं, तब भी लोग तोड़ते रहते हैं, तो बिना तो उसके तो आपको पता ही है कि सब कुछ फिर तो राम भरोसे चलता है। सो ऑब्वियसली आपको पनिशेबल ऑफेंस रखना ही पड़ेगा कि जो स्पोर्टिंग मेरिट पे आप उसको बैन दीजिए, फाइनेंशियल फाइन लगाइए, ये दोनों चीजें होगी तब जाके वो यहाँ पे क्या बोलती है कि उस चीज को करने से थोड़ा सा वो करेगा। एंड एक
Yeah,
चीज
I
ये भी
think
है कि
it's.
इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन,
I
एग्जीक्यूशन
think
भी तो हमको पता ही है कि किस तरह से होता है।
I think that's the thing now. Swas says he's based in Kerala. I think, yeah, Kerala has its system, but Kerala also has its weaknesses. So therefore, that's always the question of, again, saying you're based in Kerala is also, for example, the North Malappuram is football crazy. Kerala Blasters now have certain academy structures in Kochi or Gokulam, Kerala, in and around Kozhikode. So it depends on where you are. And what is the structure? Do you understand the structure, and can it take your kid forward? So that's always the question that one needs to look at. Parameshwar says, sir, I think we need to study football structure of countries which have less population like Croatia, since we have less number of people playing football in India. I think, Parameshwar, this idea of less, we had this discussion in 2016 when Iceland was playing the Euros 8 years ago. And the issue was that we were saying, "Arey bhai, Iceland has a population of less than 3.5 lakhs, which means that some housing societies, most probably the bigger ones in Gurgaon, have more population than the whole of Iceland. So therefore, these comparisons, for me, these comparisons make no sense. We need to have see how we create a model in India which is suitable for India. You can take
वो एक सर
elements out
एक
of Croatia. It doesn't, these copy paste models. I know the Chinese tried to do it in certain regions. They copied models from Europe or South America. None of these models fail. We have to create an Indian model for it. Take elements out of it. Take elements out of what Croatia does, or maybe the Germans do. What Japan does very, very well. Even maybe so therefore, that is something. Yeah, it's
बट सर वो
something which is.
एक सॉल्यूशन वो नहीं बताया जाता कि भाई 60 प्लेयर को सिलेक्ट करो, 100 प्लेयर को सिलेक्ट करो, या फिर 30 प्लेयर को सिलेक्ट करो, और उसको यहाँ पे बचपन से ही वो यूरोप भेज दो, यहाँ पे प्लेयर्स वो वहाँ पे डेवलप हो जाएंगे। सो वैसे तो हर कोई कंट्री कर लेता है ना, आप देखिए हर कोई कंट्री फिर फुटबॉल में टॉप पे होता है। इट्स नॉट एवरीथिंग आपको अपने
These are theoretical ideas, and they are utterly rubbish. Again, in India, very often a lot of things are in theory. They are not in the practical, in the pragmatic, in a realistic, implementable world. That is the biggest thing that we need to learn. That copy paste doesn't work. And that's why this is. This is not something they'll say, oh, listen, what, Germany did this very well in 2000. They created the NL sets, the national not national, but the development centers at the Bundesliga clubs, and then spread it out to the second tier, third tier, fourth tier. Karo. Nahi hoga. Because we don't have the youth structure. Our coaching is a problem. Our grassroots is a problem. We need to sort out the basics. And again, people thinking Arsene Wenger aa jayega, change ho raha hai. Arsene Wenger, one of the best coaches in the history of football. But does Arsene Wenger really know what the problems of Indian football are? For that, Arsene Wenger needs to spend maybe 2-3 years in India. Right? People are thinking that this AFF FIFA Center of Excellence will be the change in the world, and suddenly will be. These kids don't have competition. You could have the best academy. Reliance Foundation is currently in Japan with certain players. Why? Because they realize India mein competition nahi hai. Even if they don't win, but they don't have the we need to create the competitive, environment. Sorry, yeah. Shaggy, interesting facts. Just for facts, out of 126 players, only 34 cleared the skeletal test in Shubhataka, Bangalore in October 2023. 15 teams were banned. It's a tournament organized by the Indian Air Force. It is embarrassing to say the least. The Air Force should be embarrassed, and this is not the first time. The Shubhrut Cup is a sham, right? In that way. And we talk about school football. Shubhrut Cup is a school football tournament of state. These schools play to win. This has to change. I'm there. Okay, I play this, but I am there to develop talent. This is the main thing that needs to get into the head of people. So therefore, that's the reality. And Uday says 10 years ban from football. Uday, the question of the ban is not 10 years ban kar do and it's going to sort it out. I don't know. It needs to be seen on a case-to-case basis. It's like what the FIFA ethics committee does for ethical mistakes in football. So therefore, so let's see what happens. Ayush Mittal says, I asked Dhanraj about questions asked in interview were pre-approved. He answered no, none were pre-approved, and that's why me and Akshata was saying we should not be saying anything without info. Ayush, again, you're going back to what is he going to tell you? You think that, I don't know. If you believe that, take it. I'm nothing more from my side to add to this. I don't know what you, Hiren, think, but makes no sense. OIC players give chance in national team. Local players can't play World Cup qualifier. Shovik, again, also OCIs, PIOs, it makes only sense to discuss if we can get to the next level. I think that's the challenge. And yeah. So at the moment, let's wait and see. Satka says, bro, why transfer market so quiet suddenly for some days? No big thing happening in the transfer. Sanskar, I think there were too many rumors. Most of the teams are still trying to build their squads, and you others want and then when they have there are certain clubs who are announcing transfers, and then let's wait and see. That's why I said always. No, I always say is let's wait for a confirmation before a transfer is confirmed. This pre-contracts and he's about about to sign, could be, on the verge. Nice terminology. As long as the signature is done, there's no point of talking. Chetan says, I think along with bad coaching, I think coaching is an issue and that needs to be addressed. And a lot of coaches don't want to accept that they are part of the problem. So therefore, I don't know, big problems. Japan's official collaboration with schools and popular football in schools, they get attention. Uday, I was talking to a friend of mine who knows the system in America quite well, where the school and college system is very, very strong. And that is something which I always say we have to be honest enough. We have to develop an Indian system. Again, we run a school system. Shubhrata Cup is an example of a school football system. It's fraudulent.
मैंने सर एक बंदे से बात की थी, तो मैंने भी उनको बोला कि स्कूल में आप यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा अपनी ओर से इनिशिएटिव कीजिए और उनको यहाँ पे इन्वॉल्व करने की कोशिश कीजिए। उन्होंने मेरे को बोला कि पीटी टीचर्स को हमने यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि वो बेसिक यहाँ पे ट्रेनिंग के लिए बुलाया, मोस्ट ऑफ देम वेर नॉट कम, कोई आया ही नहीं, क्योंकि वो भी यहाँ पे मोस्ट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट स्कूल के जो पीटी टीचर्स होते हैं या फिर वो होते हैं, एक बार जॉब मिल गया फिर वो अपने आप को मान लेते कि अब तो हमको कुछ सीखने की जरूरत नहीं है, अपना सैलरी तो आ रहा है, so why would they you can say कि make a extra effort? These are all the challenges also। क्या आप देखिए, क्योंकि विदाउट पीटी टीचर्स हैविंग दैट यू कैन से कि बेसिक नॉलेज, मतलब एएफएफडी लाइसेंस जितना कि भाई क्या बेसिक चीजें हैं, आप कैसे यहाँ पे स्कूल में भी जो आप लाना चाहते हो सिस्टम, उसको भी किस तरह से हो ला पाओ। सो ये भी प्रॉब्लम है। ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ पे अथॉरिटीज कुछ करना चाहती है, कुछ जो भी करना चाहते हैं उनको ये भी हर्डल्स है, उसमें से मोस्ट ऑफ दी जो सामने वाले पीपल है वो भी तो रिसीव करने के लिए रेडी नहीं।
Yeah, very true, very true. Rishabh says, sir, why not divide state into different tiers and focus accordingly? Rishabh, you could, but I think, and the FF has done it a number of times over the last 10, 12 years, done those divisions. And I know a lot of state associations were not very happy about it. So because then they suddenly again, no one wants to get exposed in Indian football. No? It's like
Exactly.
when, club system and all that kind of stuff, club licensing, and you say, oh, these clubs have not passed the club. And nobody asked the questions, Acha, why did they not pass it? What should they have done to pass it? So yeah, this is something which is a reality. So therefore, no one wants to be exposed. Very simple. So I says Blasters under-10s of Poland for Soka League Cup. All right. Don't know what this again. I always say I can't again. I try and answer question as per my knowledge, but I can't know everything, right? So again, I know that certain people say, "Hey, I know everything." Can't be. No human knows everything. So if the Blasters have gone there, great. And again, going to Poland will be a reality check for those under-10 Blaster boys, because whatever level that is, you'll be exposed to physics. You saw Poland today play against the Netherlands. You know how good or bad Poland are. So therefore, that's the reality. Now Kalyan Chaubey and Shahjab Rogan are doing interviews with content creators more after you said people shouldn't give platform to AF officials. Samad, but no one needs to listen to me. But that's my opinion. I will not give them platforms, except if they're going to willing to change and be honest. And to me is, sorry, I say sorry beforehand. I think most of the content creators do not know enough to be able to ask them the questions. They know what is in the public domain. Do they really know what is happening? Will they ask the hard questions? No, they won't. This is mere clickbait, what is happening. And if I ask Shaji or Kollan or other people to come on platform, they will not come to the platform because they know Navo might be asking the right questions, which they will not want to answer. They will be exposed in 5 seconds. So therefore, that is the only thing I can say is, if you want to ask the questions, know what you have to ask. Be better informed. Yeah. So that's the reality. Shaki, one last question. Does AFF has a legal committee in place? Yes, they have, but we know what has happened to one of the last legal people in the federation. So therefore, yeah, they have. So to answer the question in a simple one-word answer, Shaggy, yes.
हर किसी चीज की कमिटी है,
लेकिन क्या करते हैं and what is their power and influence? That is the question. Other server access from government not helpful to tackle age fraud? Uday, I wouldn't know. Hiren?
Other server access from government, I don't think so कि ये देंगे ये लोग access, because वो data वो भी आ जाएगा फिर rest में, so I think it will be difficult to get above. But I think there are आप देखिए जो बाकी solution है वो भी ऐसे solution है कि जिसको अगर आप implement करोगे तो there are chances कि 80-90% आपका वो यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि problem solve हो सकता है। ऐसा नहीं है कि उसका कोई solution ही नहीं है. You have a solution. It's just about the right approach and the will and execution. अगर आपके ग्रासरूट कोचेस एकेडमीज ही यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि वो बैकग्राउंड चेक, कम्युनिटी चेक थोड़ा सा करेंगे और वो हो जाता है, उसमें कोई वो इतना बड़ा बात नहीं है कि वो नहीं हो पाता। आप थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे कुछ वहाँ पे लोगों से बात करेंगे तो उसका मतलब वो उसका एकेडमिक अगर वो थोड़ा सा चेक करेंगे। एंड अभी क्या होता है, कोई भी बच्चा पैदा होता है तो हम देखते हैं कि जनरली यहाँ पे उसकी जो लोकल बॉडी होती है वहाँ पे उसका यहाँ पे तुरंत उसके 1 वीक में या फिर उसके 10-15 दिन में यहाँ पे जनरली डेट ऑफ बर्थ ऑफ सर्टिफिकेट निकल जाता है। सो वहां से भी आप थोड़ी सी इन्फॉर्म गैदर कर सकते हो, क्योंकि सब जगह पे तो ये लोग यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि फोर्जरी नहीं कर सकते। एक दो जगह पे वो अपना वो करके कर सकते हैं, इनके पास भी इतना पावर नहीं है कि सब जगह पे डॉक्यूमेंट चेंज कर देंगे। सो थोड़ा सा अगर आप क्योंकि आप उस जहाँ पे बेस्ड हो वहां पे अगर आपके पास उतना पावर है तो हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है कि ये बिल्कुल इम्पॉसिबल है कि भाई इस बंदे की क्या रियल एज है। अगर आप उसके 2-3 रिलेटिव से भी ऐसे ही बात कर लोगे तो वो भी पता चल जाएगा कि हाँ भाई वो कहीं ना कहीं निकल जाएगा, क्योंकि वो आ ही जाता है डिफरेंस। इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू हाइड थ्रू, क्योंकि वो कैसे की लाई। सो बट ये गवर्नमेंट तो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि गवर्नमेंट अलाउ करेगा ये आधार कार्ड का डेटा।
I don't think so. I don't think so. But there are other means and ways, that's the thing. Some of those, do follow the Leon Bailey Jamaica Football Federation drama style. That's quite interesting, very similar to AFF. Yeah, it could be sort of, Apuya equals too much could be the thing. And your follow up, you're following Leon Bailey and Jamaica Football Federation drama. No, wait 1 second. Also, how is Jamaica producing world class talent like Leon Bailey and Michael Antonio in Premier League? See, Michael Antonio was born in London, so he's a Jamaican origin player. And a lot of these Caribbean islands, I've worked in the Caribbean in football, so I know a lot of these islands have fallen back on talent born in, especially England or the French-speaking nations, from Guadeloupe and Martinique, from there, Curacao or Suriname especially is using talent from the Netherlands. Leon Bailey went at a very young age to America. And you just see Usain Bolt. Jamaicans are athletically very, very gifted. That's the biggest difference. Their federation their federation structure is much, much worse than the AFF. The JFF is nothing compared to the AFF. But again, they played a World Cup. I remember 2006 was Trinidad, 1998 was Jamaica. So they've all these these small little islands have played. So therefore they are ahead of us. So those are realities, if I like it or not. Chetan says, I think along with bad coaching, our players were too less technical and decent quality to qualify. If we want to go forward, our players need to play in higher leagues for personal development. Ex-Jingan. Chetan, Sandesh went. Sandesh didn't make it also, right? Sunil hasn't made it. Baichung hasn't made it. They've tried. But if your football basics aren't good, I think this is the answer of the thing. If your basics aren't good, you will not get a chance. Think about it. Sunil Chhetri was with Sporting Lisbon's B team. Eric Dyer, England, ex-England international, maybe I have to say. Bayern Munich player, ex-Tottenham. That's the level of players. And Sunil couldn't make it. And Sunil has been our best player over the last decade. So the reality is, if the basics are not right, again, I go back, what I say, I'll say it like a mantra. Grassroots, youth football, coaching, competitions. These things, as long as we don't sort out, no chance. No chance. Huh, Hiren?
Exactly. Grassroots youth and grassroots coaches. Scouting, I think, also one of the factors. Scouting is at the grassroots is also which more focus on the, you can see बंदा टोल है, बंदा भागता ज्यादा है, उसको ले लो, चलो ये फुटबॉल में. Whereas in grassroots level, the more focus should be on technicality and basic skills. Physicality तो आपकी 16 के बाद ही डेवलप होगी. आप देखिए लेमिन यमाल कल खेल रहा था. Physically is nowhere you can say कि compatible with the other players in that sense, but skill set wise he can beat Guardiola.
Yeah.
So that's ये आपको difference समझना पड़ेगा.
That's the reality. Chetan says in Sri Lanka, school cricket system is highly developed. Again, there are different models. I say, if you want to talk, there are different models. Samat says regarding Japan, Japanese J-League team lost to university. Again, their university school football is very, very strong. Some of the players in Japan or Korea go from a university to a pro club. They don't even go through an academy. Different models, guys. There are tons of models. If you want, there are tons of examples. We have to create the right model for Indian football. It is copy paste will not work. Yeah. So that's something.
Like Vision 2047.
amongst others. हिमांशु सिंह, भाई ऐसा नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट पैसा नहीं दे रहे हैं, पर से डिस्ट्रिक्ट एफए में चोर है सब सारे, तब फुटबॉल माफिया जो पैसे टू बी ऑनेस्ट फुटबॉल माफिया जो पैसे खा जाते हैं। मेरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट एफए को 5 करोड़ का बजट मिला था, पीआर कुछ नहीं हुआ मेरे। अच्छा, Himanshu, if your district has received 5 crores, that's going to be one of the highest paid districts in India in regard to football. The government the government across India, governments, not government, governments across India do not fund football in a proper way, right? And if the district has done it, most probably there's a politician involved in all of this, or a businessman is involved in all of it. Therefore, we have to differentiate. The AIFF at the moment is in a situation where you can say that they are not getting the proper funding. And we have positive example. Odisha, I say this again. The question now is, will Odisha funding stay or go with the change of government? And it's not a football
FIFA
problem,
academy में ही पता चल जाएगा ना।
हाँ,
नहीं, FIFA academy में पता चल जाएगा। 4 करोड़ जो दे रहे हैं हर साल का, वो पता चल जाएगा कि वो कंटिन्यू करते कि नहीं।
Yeah, I agree. Someone says foreign football experts and coaches are saying what India needs a superstar playing elite level at Europe like Nakamura or Nakata of Japan, Mohamed Salah of Egypt, George Weah of Liberia. Continued a superstar at elite level will clearly open all doors and routes for Indian football. Then you will see quality Indian football. Yeah, Samarth, I said this to Germany's biggest magazine, Der Spiegel, in 2012, after the Bayern Munich match. If India can find its own David Beckham, Indian football will explode. I've said this. I said this I said this in 2002 to a Swiss newspaper when the Baichung Bhutia story was discussed. And I said to Blick, which is the biggest tabloid in Switzerland, if Baichung makes it in Europe, that will open doors for Indian football. So that's a lot. We don't need to discuss it. That's a logical thing. If an Indian player makes it, the world will suddenly look at Indian football. But our talent is at the moment not good. Look at what we've seen in the last few days at the Euros. Or just at the moment we're seeing the game. It's halftime, Denmark leading 1-0 against Slovenia. Slovenia, a country of, what is it, less than 2 million? Benjamin Šeško. Yeah? 21-year-old, playing at RB Leipzig and being sought after by some of the biggest clubs in Europe. So therefore, for me, that is a given. If we find that talent, we will be sorted. If Baichung Bhutia made it abroad, if Sunil made it abroad, we might not be talking about these things, right? Because suddenly there'll be also interest to grow football in India. So therefore, that is why I always say is that OCI players are so important to exponentially grow Indian football. Simple as that. Hiren, Shaggy has a question for you. Just 1 second. I just need to. Can you just handle this question 1 second?
Yeah, no problem. Segi bhai, इसका simple sir answer है. Right people at the administration who has a knowledge, intent and want to do some good in, जैसे आपके कर्नाटका में है सत्यनारायण और सब ने सिस्टम एक डेवलप किया, सेम पीपल यहाँ पे पावर में आए हैं, उनको पावर मिला है आई वुड से कि टू टेक दोस काइंड ऑफ डिसीजन एंड नॉलेज भी है जो मैंने बातचीत की है लोगों से एंड एक इंटेंशन भी है. सो आई थिंक दोस आर द सिंपल रीजन कि यहाँ पे कुछ प्रोएक्टिवनेस पिछले कुछ सालों में, पिछले पर्टिकुलरली 2-3 सालों में आई वुड से कि देखने को मिल रही है एंड दैट्स द गुड थिंग. राजस्थान एफए का भी मैं बोलूंगा जिस तरह से ओपी अभी कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे चल रहे हैं, दे आर आल्सो आई थिंक ऑन अ राइट ट्रैक इन दैट सेंस. ज्यादा तो उस सेंस पे पता नहीं है बट आई थिंक जिस तरह की चीजें वो भी ला रहे हैं वो इट्स लुकिंग गुड. आई थिंक इट इज समथिंग दे आर समथिंग डूइंग. सो गुजरात में भी सेम है, यहाँ पे राइट पीपल एट द यू कैन से एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन लेवल. Bro, when we'll get our football Virat Kohli. वही तो उसी के तो तलाश है भाई. We will be a dark horse in this Euro edition. I think Austria. हमने यहाँ पे जब प्रीव्यू प्रेडिक्शन किया तब यहाँ पे बताया था कि it will be Austria. creating a unique method and ideology to develop Indian football. Maybe we need a visionary like Marcelo Bielsa, between who was the person who brought change in Australia. Australia football, they dedicated him. Bilkul, agree. We need a figure like him who has that kind of a knowledge, intent, and capabilities. Bilkul. अनुराग कौशिक भाई बोल रहे कि I felt Aero project was a great move, but again got slept. वही तो दिक्कत है भाई यहाँ पे जो पुराने रिजिम का कुछ भी अच्छा चीज है वो नया रिजिम आके चेंज कर देता है दैट इज द बिगेस्ट इशू एरो वाज मेकिंग मैं नहीं बोलूंगा कि एरो वाज एक्सेप्शनल प्रोजेक्ट जिससे हमें वर्ल्ड क्लास टैलेंट मिल गए बट इट वाज अ मच बेटर देन योर करंट सिस्टम कि उसमें से भी आपको बेटर प्लेयर थोड़े से उससे बेटर प्लेयर आपको बना के दे रहा था सो इन दैट सेंस आई थिंक इट वाज अ स्टार्ट एंड उसको आप आगे भी डेवलप कर सकते हैं एंड एफएफ वाज अर्लियर एफएफ वाज प्लानिंग फॉर दैट सेम एरो प्रोजेक्ट फॉर वुमेन्स प्लेयर्स आल्सो so in a way that's a right project I would say a superstar at elite level will clearly open all doors and routes for Indian footballers then you will see quality in Indian football agree foreign football experts ये ले लिया था चलो भाई ऐसा नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट अच्छा ये ले लिया when Australia qualified for World Cup penalties against Uruguay the commentators were screaming the name of one person I don't know do you know him they say he brought the actual change in Australia अच्छा मार्सेलो बिएल्सा की बात कर रहे हैं समझदार लोग
So see the point here is Joe again it is in an Indian context yes you have to have people who will lead from the front but it needs a team effort so to say to change Indian football the will the desire we see for example with this letter regarding age fraud that 6 entities have come together right so that those are the signs those are the signs that you need to change things
एंड वो जो 6 एंटिटीज है वो ऐसी है कि जिनका इंडियन फुटबॉल में से है ऐसा नहीं कि छोटी छोटी एकेडमीज है कि जो मतलब एक अकेले लड़ रही है these peoples are capable and they have a say so I think that
I'll tell you I mean you see Darren Caldera you see Pradyum Reddy you see Ravi Pushkar just to name those three Mizoram Football Association में Madras FC Shanmugam Venkatesh has signed it and Reliance Foundation as well. So you see that these are the things, right? So therefore, and that's an important thing. And Anurag says, Arrow's project not just for players, such projects will also benefit our young coaches gain experience. Yeah, Floyd Pinto, very good example. Floyd gained a lot of experience. Mahesh Gawli gained a lot of experience of working with the Arrow.
But ये जो सेम क्वेश्चन है ये जब साजिद प्रभाकरन से पूछा गया है वो बोल रहे कि उसने कितने वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर प्रोड्यूस करके दिए
See the world class question is a good one in the sense of that world class ka question answer is India has produced world class players zero. Simple answer. Huh? In our history we have produced zero world class players. So that is the reality. So मेरे के लिए वही तो problem है ना जो we can discuss.
But Eros was giving a good result. At least जो आपकी सिस्टम से जो प्लेयर निकल रहे थे उससे तो ये इस प्रोजेक्ट के आने के थ्रू उसका जो मतलब लेवल है वो थोड़ा सा एलिवेट हुआ था प्लेयरों का आप देखिए कि उससे काफी सारे आपके प्लेयर जिस तरह से नेशनल टीम में खेल रहे हैं या फिर आईएसएल में खेल रहे थे तो वो डेफिनेटली उससे फायदा हुआ था ऐसा नहीं था कि कंप्लीटली फेल प्रोजेक्ट था it was a good idea and intention भी सही था उसका and
see Hiren it's not even forget the good intention my question to that is when it originally Bob Houghton mentioned in his stint to say listen we need to do something Colin Toll was saying listen I have players we don't have the structure of exposure suddenly you're in the situation and to me is the question of how can you build it and call him again if you look at that team Gurpreet Pritam Kotal Probir Das Sandesh Jingan played for some of it JJ Dika Probir Shaitan the Souza got injured other players that squad gave a lot and then the under-17 World Cup squad also experienced and Apuya got a chance to play there and then became the player he is today right Prabsukan Gill got a chance today that he is today those are the realities of things so that's the challenge where we find ourselves with so therefore for me it's a huge challenge and I feel we need to do more, but are we willing to do the things that are needed? You know. So if his team wants to be in hot chair, then allow him, but make actual coach someone else and converts too much from head coach to normal team staff. Shomo, unrealistic, will not happen. You know, maybe a nice idea, but again, why would you pay him that much money and say, listen, just be there, you know? How did football grow in Australia? I said that only one person brought the change. He stood and wanted to give the excellence, and then Australia grew. And then, listen, Australia has done many things. I think it's not just one thing which has changed football. In my opinion, they brought in overseas players. They created the A League. Don't forget, the A League is a huge thing that they created, right? So therefore, we need to look at what all these entities have done to grow the sport in the way that it's needed to be there. And again, to me, is it's not the change in regard to small little things. It needs, in some areas, it will need radical change for things to happen. That's the challenge, and that's something. Yeah. So therefore, that's something. Now, most other countries have their own countrymen coaching the national teams clubs. Do our Indian clubs not trust our coaches enough, or is there a bridge to gap for our coaches? Navneet, I've said it multiple times, they're not good enough. Most of them are not good enough. If you want to grow, we need better quality, and the better quality is coming with foreigners. And it's not even the top. We're not even. I mean, Hiren, no, we're not even talking about top level foreigners who are coming to India, right? We're talking about foreigners who are coming in who have coached at some of them decent level, a lot of them lower level coaches, right?
Yes.
Or not even head coaches. Look at Des Buckingham and Peter Krutke, who are assistant coaches at Melbourne City.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल कंप्लीटली एग्री। आप ये बताइए ना कि आपके कितने कोचेस है इंडिया के कि जिन्होंने यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि अपने करियर पे स्टार्टिंग में आप जो भी ये सर ने अपने नाम दिए फॉरेन कोचेस, उन्होंने भी आप देखिए कि कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया था एंड कितना उनका एक्सपोजर है। वो अपने कंट्री में ही नहीं, आप पीटर केटकी इज फ्रॉम अदर कंट्री एंड ही गोज टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड एल्सवेयर। तो आपके कितने कोचेस है कि जिन्होंने यहाँ पे अपने आप को प्रूव करने के लिए यहाँ पे कहीं पे भी अपने आप को चैलेंज किया हुआ है। आप स्ट्रेट अवे तो कोई भी आईएसएल कोच के ऊपर, आईएसएल क्लब थोड़ी ना उसके ऊपर ट्रस्ट करेगा। दे नीड टू यू कैन से कि शोकेस दैट टैलेंट, प्रूव देमसेल्फ। चैलेंज आपको करना पड़ेगा एंड वो पहला स्टेप आपके, जैसे हमारे प्लेयरों के लिए फॉरेन में जाना डिफिकल्ट है, इस तरह हमारे कोचेस के लिए भी वो डिफिकल्ट होगा, बट दे नीड टू ट्राई एंड हैव टू फाइंड द वे, सिंपल एज दैट। अदरवाइज आप अपने आप को आप रिस्पेक्ट जो बोलते हैं ना कि इंडियन प्लेयर यहाँ पे इंडियन कोचेस को रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करते, वो तब तक नहीं आएगा। आप अपने आप को प्रूव नहीं करोगे कि हाँ भाई देखो मैंने इस क्लब को यहाँ पे इस तरह से रन किया है, इसको रिजल्ट डिलीवर किए, तब तक वो नहीं आएगा। तो यू हैव टू प्रूव योरसेल्फ। जैसे प्लेयर को प्रूव करना है वैसे कोच को भी करना पड़ेगा।
Exactly. That's I think the biggest challenge. Shomo's point is Floyd is the only coach who knows a bunch of our young players very well, whereas I've picked out of HVAC coaching knowledge. Yeah, that's the point. Someone says Ona was right about Osea. Why Morocco returns? They have origin players in national playing in Europe, and players are clearly better than local. Add that to football culture and supporting body. Samad, that's the point, right? About players of origin. That's the point about putting something together, and that is the challenge. That's the challenge that football will have in around the world. HNKFC, why Vietnam failed to qualify for World Cup qualifiers next? One second, what was the question? Why did it disappear? Why Vietnam failed to qualify for the World Cup qualifiers next round in Asian Cup knockouts? Because it's not a one-way street in regard to development. You will have success and you will have failures. Very simple. Vietnam was having a good phase, literally exploded back, to a decent level in Asia, but now they're struggling. So that's the reality of where things stand. So that's the challenge, no?
It's a constant process. You just can't you can say set up a one system and you can expect a result will come. You have to work on that system every day to
Exactly.
produce a result. So they created that system, but unfortunately after that when I was talking to Steve, he told me he also I think worked in Vietnam or maybe his colleague. So he told कि after that batch which they created, their focus shifted, and that's why now they are going to suffer. They are gonna suffer now. So वही हमें
Exactly.
देखने को मिल रहा है. It's not like कि आपने एक बार सिस्टम जैसे हम अपने सर ने बोला कि भाई ये फीफा एकेडमी आपने एस्टेब्लिश कर दिया तो आपको सब कुछ मिल जाएगा. ऐसे ऐसे नहीं आता है. बाकी चीजें भी आपको एग्जीक्यूट
Exactly.
करनी पड़ेगी और एवरी डे करना पड़ेगा तब जाके आप एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे रिजल्ट मिलेगा.
That is, see, Hiren, that is the real challenge. No? That's the real challenge that a lot of people don't want to talk about. No? So this is something that if you want, I want, we need to accept. And therefore, Suhas saying, no, now we need a player who can become a starter at a top level club outside India first, Suhas, and we are so far away from that. You know, it's, do we have players to play in the top five in Europe? No. Do we have a player to play top league across Europe? No, at the
टॉप
moment.
5 इन एशिया सर. टॉप 5 इन यूरोप तो बाकी की बात दूर की.
And that's the worrying part of of the reality check that we need to, yeah. So therefore, let's see. Rachi says hello and good evening, my brother Ranavasa. Hope you guys are doing exactly opposite to Indian football. So we're doing bad, Hiren. Indian football is doing
वी
good
आर
now.
डूइंग. हाँ, इंडियन फुटबॉल तो बढ़िया कर रहा है. इससे बढ़िया चीज तो हो ही नहीं रही कुछ. अगर कोई एक चीज सही हो रही है तो वो इंडियन फुटबॉल ही है. बाकी सारी चीजें तो क्वेश्चनेबल है.
No, we're doing fine. I think Hiren and I are doing fine. Too much of football, I guess, with the Euros around.
टू
Um,
मच टू मच.
and Arita says, what's your interpretation of Jose Molina as Mohun Bagan super giant head coach? Good choice. Aritra, I am not so sure. I'm a little surprised that Molina has somewhere come out of the darkness to become Mohun Bagan coach after all these coaches who were linked to the club or where they were supposedly searching. In the end, they go back to someone that has worked under the ATK management. Um, he's a defensive minded coach. Mohun Bagan has a very strong attacking unit, so I'd like to see how this works. It could work. You never know. Molina is a very experienced guy, but I was a little surprised, to be very honest. I don't know, Hiren, are you surprised? Molina, head coach, Mohun Bagan Supergiant?
Com- Completely surprised. Completely surprised. I think out of the nowhere, out of the blue, I would say that this one has come. When I think no one has expected. I think even Mohun Bagan fans and they also don't expect they will go for Jose Molina. So interesting choice. I think he knows ISL, he knows Indian football, so that's the plus point for him. I would say he will you can say कि take over and deliver भी किया है. ऐसा नहीं है कि fail रहा था. So he delivered the 15-16 season. So let's see. I think किस तरह से जैसे सर ने बोला कि defensive minded है, but Anthony Abbas was also counted as defensive minded and he worked very well. So let's see. It will time will only tell. I would say.
Yeah.
And challenge will be big for him because now they are playing in ACL too. So this time तो expectation will be much more. Last season भी हमने देखा था कि AFC कप से मोहन बगान फैंस को मतलब जिस तरह से उन्होंने टीम बनाई थी उनको लग रहा था कि we will do well. But unfortunately they don't qualify into the you can say कि out of the group also. So this time तो he has a bigger I would say कि expectation from the fans कि Shield भी जीते हैं सब
But
कुछ
Hiren, to me, it's unrealistic, na? To me, the expectations
अनरियल
on
नहीं
Mohun
वो
Bagan
तो है.
fans is totally unrealistic.
वो तो वो तो है एब्सोल्युटली वो है. बट क्योंकि आपको पता है सर कि कोलकाता क्लब्स एंड देयर फैन बेस एंड उनको भी एक हैंडल करने का एक अलग चैलेंज है. सो दैट विल बी आल्सो ही
That is
हैज टू
true. Very
हैंडल.
true.
हाँ
Very true.
हाँ.
Amina says Kalyan Chaubey mentioned that quality of football should be reformed from bottom level like U12, 15, 17, but then not there. Take proper reforms to develop our players for FC U17, U20 tournaments. Abhinav, talking about it and doing it to me is two separate things. That's the problem in the AFF at the moment, or not at the moment. It's been for a while. Also for a lot of people in within AFF, there's a lot of talk, but we're not there where we can or need to be, and that in my opinion is our challenge. Anurag says Danish midfield is so underrated. Yeah, very very true.
ट्रू.
Someone says the thing that surprises me and is the point in a 35 and 39-year-old foreign striker is trusted over a young Indian striker. Also in many positions, how's retiring players playing in ISL? Some of the important thing to understand is a foreign player with a certain level of understanding, how old he is, if he can hold his ground in Indian weather conditions, will most probably be better than an Indian footballer. Therefore, these guys play. I am playing as a coach of an ISL team, of an I League team, of whatever club side. I am playing to win. That is the difference between a senior level coach and a youth coach. Youth coach's job should be to develop players, right? Naushad Musa's role at BFC was to develop players. You know, the role of Bibiano at BFC now is to develop players. That is the difference that we need to understand. At ISL level, the coach comes in, he's there to create, get results. That's the challenge. That is the challenge that we have. Shamsi, but sir, what about Punjab that you have to set up in ISL? There are many players are over it, so there are many players are under 7 national youth. So I also don't play them entirely, but also AFF. See, Shreyam, I was there at the time. We're talking about 2017, 18, early 19. And at the time it was very clear that you're not playing overage players, and I can't say what they're doing now because I'm no longer involved with the club, so therefore you would have to have asked the club. But that is something, when you the problem is only that when you talk about development, there is no shortcut to development. Development takes time, and development is something which is very, very challenging. And if you can get a result out of it, great. But if you are able to get something going, even better. So therefore, if they're not doing it now, I don't know why, but that's something, that's something. Rahul Kumar Tiwari, can you name some players playing abroad holding Indian passport? Rahul, there are few playing, but I wouldn't have a list at the moment on my hand where I can name you some. I did an interview with Kabir Nath recently, which you can watch on my channel, but otherwise there are some few others. But again, that's something. Hriday's Apoya Chankte trying outside India. Any insider? Hriday at the moment not clear. At the moment, looks likely that they will stay at Mumbai City. But again, the transfers period season has just opened. Anything is possible. Not gonna like. I think Mbappe comment was right. I mean, I saw the Albania Italy game. Even though Albania was boring, but the first touch, ball control was world class, and they were riding challenge. See, Samat, with these kind of teams, Albania is a good example. You've seen Armando Sadiku in the ISL this season. Armando Sadiku was the guy who scored the goal for Albania in 2016 at the Euros. Technically, very good player. They have the mentality. They have this pride to play for the nation. But you realize how even Italy without superstars is an experienced lot. Italy know how to grind out a result. And they did yesterday. If Albania was smarter, Albania somehow or the other could have gotten a result against the Italians. And they couldn't hold it even for 15, 20 minutes. So that's the reality of football. Shoma Usnala, we should change our focus from senior team to under 17 team now, shift more of a senior team budget to youth team now for our next 4 years. Senior team football is over. We should seriously about junior World Cup qualification. Shoma, to me, very, very clear. You have to do both. I know some people say forget senior national team, focus on this, focus on that. But if that under 17, let's say under 17 project doesn't work, I don't know what Hiren thinks. If we focus on under 17 doesn't work, right?
नहीं नहीं,
तब
ऐसे
क्या
नहीं।
करोगे?
मेरे को भी एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था कुछ दिन पहले। मैंने भी सेम बोला, यू कांट हैव अ सिंगल अप्रोच, यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन बोथ द थिंग्स। डेफिनेटली यू कैन प्रायोरिटाइज द अंडर 17 जहाँ पे आप बजट ज्यादा वो कर सकते हो, बट आपको नेशनल टीम को भी यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई 3-4 साल नेक्स्ट 4 इयर्स के लिए हमारा सिर्फ टारगेट अंडर 17 है।
No,
You
but
have to have, you can say
Hiren, another thing, sponsorship. No? Again, sponsorship is not there.
हाँ,
Viewership.
पैसा वहीं से
Senior
आएगा।
team लगता है.
हाँ
Senior team is your most
हाँ
important team at the end of the day.
हाँ
And that's why I
हाँ।
say senior national team is not for experiments. The best need to play. You know?
रिजल्ट तो वहीं पे है ना, रिजल्ट वहां पे मैटर करेगा।
Yeah. That's the thing. Shyam says, how many players from Aspire Academy playing in Europe? Very few compared to the money spent. Same in case of Vietnam. The funds got dried out. We want sustainable development. We're not Qatar like money. Shyam, the question is not of how many Aspire players are playing in Europe. Ask how many Aspire players are playing in the Qatar national team. They're double Asian champions. So the project has worked for them. For a Qatari player, for a Saudi player, Akram Afif, Al Moez, for them, they all earn enough at home. They don't need to go to Europe. This Europe thing, India is different to the Qatar and Vietnam. Money is not drying up. Vietnam had a very good spell, and Vietnam. The reality is football is up and down. Bhai, in Germany we're celebrating 5-1. Look at the last three tournaments. Before that, Germany always said by semi-finals हो जाएगा.
जर्मनी नहीं सर, बिगेस्ट एग्जांपल जैसे इंडिया 1950 to 60s की बात करते हैं, हंगरी वाज द बिगेस्ट एग्जांपल। हंगरियन वर वर्ल्ड चैंपियंस, एंड जिस तरह से वो खेलते थे वर्ल्ड चैंपियन की तरह खेलते थे, आप देखिए। एंड नाउ सी द यस्टरडेस परफॉर्मेंस अगेंस्ट स्विट्जरलैंड।
Yeah. A lot of things, na. Someone says OCI is so hard, but why IFA not calling up players that are holding Indian passport playing abroad? Doesn't matter the level at this point, at least better than Indian player in ISL who cannot pass. Someone that's
what
maybe
we
another
think.
point. You are making an assumption. How do you know? And for the AFF, sorry.
Senbai is also here.
Yeah, I just realized.
Bad
And
realization.
sorry. I just got this. Hiren, who's this gentleman?
Senda, Mr. Sen Sarkar.
Yes, I don't know how did he get the link. Link के बारे में मिला है शायद.
एक किया.
Hello, welcome Shine, welcome back. कैसे हो भाई?
Welcome.
How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing good, Dada. I'm doing good.
Surviving in Delhi in the cold weather.
ये कहाँ पे आ गए आप? क्या कौन सा ये background है?
नहीं ये actually I'm in Delhi right now. I moved to Delhi. I'm currently in Noida, and the heat is here. It's too much to be happy over here. The heat is too much.
You should have not sold your flat to Hiren. No? That was the mistake. Now Hiren अच्छे से बैठे हुए हैं. That is the mistake.
सही बोला ये तो सही। मैंने आपको फिर ये आपने जितना सेंधा आपने जितना बोला था उतना पैसा दिया, सारा उड़ा दिया आपने क्या? ऐसी जगह पे आपको आके बैठना पड़ रहा है।
कहाँ पर मैं? I didn't get क्या बोल रहे हो?
मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि मैंने इस घर के लिए आपको, इस हाउस के लिए आपको कितना पैसा दिया था, मुंह मांगी रकम दी थी, फिर भी आप ऐसे घर पे बैठे हो। या फिर आप होटल में हो? कहाँ पे हो?
घर है टेकन अप फ्लैट।
तो आप शिफ्ट हो गए क्या दिल्ली?
यस। हाँ ठीक है, दिल्ली का अभी यूरो कप का क्या फिर प्रेडिक्शन सबका? कल का गेम कैसा लगा सबको? स्पेन एंड क्रोएशिया,
ये भी बढ़िया गेम चल रहा है, स्लोवेनिया वर्सेस डेनमार्क।
And at night my country will play after that sometime. England.
ये मैं सर देखता हूँ इंडिया में इंग्लैंड के काफी फैन है, मतलब इंग्लैंड नेशनल टीम के।
वो जो फुटबॉल नहीं समझता है वो इंग्लैंड फैन होता है।
हाँ नहीं समझता है। हाँ we grew up watching EPL ना, we grew up watching EPL when we started our journey.
England has, on one side, it has potential, but I think with all said and done, with Gareth Southgate, they've one of the worst coaches. I mean, compared to that, I think even Steamage is good. So that sums up, I think, football.
That is an overstatement. Steamage is not good compared to Gareth Southgate. It's a better coach, I think, in that way. So it's Steamage.
Oh, same level, na? Aston Villa या Derby County same hai. So let me get back to some of the questions.
Yes, please.
Shriyam says, some Gani Baba is saying, use all money of Indian team coach and everything to academy. This is not system works. We should have sustainable approach with money being distributed everywhere in sector. So Shine, I think the conversation today has been with Kiran, myself, and with the fans about kaise chal raha hai, how are things going, and what needs to be done. And one thing which, again, a lot of people say, forget the current, focus on the future. But you cannot forget the current and go into the future, because then nobody will care about the future, because there is no future. I think that's my thing. I don't know what you think. I think Hiren, similar approach. What are you thinking, Shan?
See, I think somehow the way it is functioning right now, I'm not so hopeful. because what I'm seeing right now, no, is that it doesn't give me any hope. I have seen many low points of Indian football in 2014 when we lost to Japan 7-1. Then I've seen the time when I think there was a gap when before Houghton came in, and there was a gap that time when Naimuddin was coach when we lost 3-0 to Yemen in Ambedkar Stadium. I remember I was very small that time, and those were the low points. I think currently the slum what I'm seeing recently in recent past in last 15 years, Indian football has not gone so backwards, according to me. After that slum in 2005, I think after that Indian football after Bob Houghton came in, and sometime I think 2 years when Wim Kovarmans was there from 2012 to 2014 after the Nehru Cup triumph, which we where we beat B team of B or C team of Cameroon in the finals in Delhi. After that, Wim Kovarmans as a coach failed in India. And after that, Steven came in. We lost against Guam. People
Yeah.
may say Guam is a very normal team, but Guam was not such a normal. What I've heard from the people and the coach that time that Guam was had many PIO players that time playing for Guam. So Guam is not the rank which actually they had to say. So I've seen those phases. Currently, what I'm seeing is that I'm not hopeful because here we have a coach who doesn't want to leave us. I think this is the first time in my entire January Onaoda can say it better because he has followed many more years, and I think Onaoda has also. I think I may be wrong, but Onaoda has also not seen a coach whom everybody wants to say to leave the country, but he is not leaving the country, and he has
But
said to
what?
players, and I have confirmed with
Hmm?
one of the players. I have a confirmation from one of the players. I'll not name the player that he's like he's saying that no, we have played well and we have lost due to that referee decision, and I will continue. And he's confirmed to a player, and the player is from Kolkata. I can say you that. He plays for a Kolkata club. He has said it. So that is the
Player,
problem.
Ah.
many. By the way, brilliant save from the Oblak, John Oblak. I
Yeah, but
think
at the other
that
end,
was
nearly a goal for Slovenia on the
Slovenia.
counter. Eh?
Uh, but
One of the
say the
once
player is from Kolkata or Kolkata club.
Kolkata club. I saw no player from Kolkata club.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
said
Get it.
But that's the
so.
problem, na? But for example, Samad says the only positive thing happening in Indian football is there are lot more people talking about Indian football. Nobody even cared about it like 3 4 years ago. Maybe this has a chess effect in India. Samad, I think again, Cheyenne most probably who's also been following Indian football for a long time. This is a false. I feel a false narrative.
Hmm.
It feels like a lot more people are involved because people talk about it on social media. But I again go back to 2001, a game in Bangalore. India beat the United Arab Emirates 1-0. Jules Alberto goal. Baichung Bhutia will still today say that he scored. 30,000 plus people at the Kanti Rava. And there was no social media in those days, but still 30,000 plus turned up. 90,000, Salt Lake Stadium, the match that Shan spoke about, India versus Japan. So these things have happened, right? This is not a one of these things have happened. So to me, is the question at the end of the day that um, uh, uh, that social media seems to amplify things, but it is not the difference maker in regard to kya ho raha hai, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's a thing. And Samat adds, I hope Indian football team getting a lot of criticism. People discussing football and corruption of football has chess effect. Chess was ignored, but we now have a potential world champion in chess. Yeah, but Samat, who in the world cares about chess? That would be my first question. Football is a different ball game. We cannot compare football to any other sport in the world. Chess, like only India cares about chess. I had to report once on chess on a tournament in Bonn which had Vishwanathan Anand. There was no other journalist. The Germans didn't don't care about it. Football
Correct.
is
Correct.
something very, very, in my opinion, very, very different. We need to look at it in that way. But those things are not happening. That is my concern.
Correct.
You know,
I agree with
so
that.
that is my thing. So for me, that's something, right? And Shrem Das says, but Hungary, Yugoslavia, at time in 60s, many country people used to pray for those like Croatia and other countries. Now these countries doing individually great. Yeah, but they've been playing football, right? Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia at the moment is playing. That was part of Yugoslavia in the past, right? Hungary is not broken up. Hungary is still the same as Hungary. Czechoslovakia, Slovakia are playing. Czech Republic and Slovakia are playing. So therefore, these are things, these are realities, and we need to live in these realities. And Arnab says an interesting another issue we often hide behind our players are not physical needs to be stopped. Look at players like Pedri, Musiala, Lamine, toying with players. Manveer Jigson can throw them if they want. That's another thing, right? That is the problem in scouting then. We come to coaching and scouting. If
Correct.
Lionel Messi existed in India, Lionel Messi would have stopped playing at the age of 10 in India.
सिलेक्ट ही
So
नहीं
Ah,
one of
होता,
the
किसी
one of the
एकेडमी में सिलेक्ट ही नहीं होता.
I can name one incident in 2010 when Bob Houghton was coaching the national team. Many of the people have criticized him. Why Alvito Dikuna, that time a player from East Bengal, was overlooked. Why Mehtab Hussain was overlooked. But Bob had one thing in common. He said that we are not so talented with the ball, so we have to play with players which have physically much more stronger. He got in Anwar Ali, he got in Gourmangi Singh that time. So yeah, the coaching, I think how we scout players.
Miraj came in, Enpri
Yes, Mehraj
Pradeep came in, and of course,
yes,
Alvito had the problem. He was playing on the left. You had
yes,
Renedy and Clifford.
yes, correct, correct, correct. And so
So,
that's why I think Bob. So the coaching right now, no, we have to believe in one philosophy and stick to it. I think Bob started off it very well. I think under Bob only we started an Indian Arrows project, which
yeah,
was
yeah.
eventually stopped. In fact, I asked this to Mr. Prabhakaran once in an interview that why this was stopped. He had his point of view there, but somehow I felt that stopping of Indian Arrows that in 2023, I think that has affected. That is a big effect. But I don't know. I think your take on Indian Arrows getting stopped and many things. I think which would have. I think India not hosting AFC Asian Cup 2027, backing out at the last moment. What do you think about it? Or
I
Hiren also
think
both?
I think the Arrows program is for me is something um, to me something where I will say Indian Arrows gave results. We spoke about it a little earlier, especially at the start and under Colin Toll. Gurpreet, Pritam Kotal, Prabir Das, Pranal Haldar, JJ, Dika, Shilton. A lot of players. I would have to go through the list of the first Indian Arrows team in 2011 have played Indian international football. The under 17 World Cup squad was helped by it. So therefore, these are things that have helped Indian football. And this is very difficult, not to go to the next level. And yeah, that's a problem. It's a huge problem. And I don't know if we will do the right things or not. But at the moment, I fear that uh, uh, um, so therefore, and Samad asks a good question: were Indians actually good at football in 50s and 60s? If we were good, then many Indians must have played good football. How suddenly did our football techniques become null? How did the culture die? Some of the problem is I think that 50s and 60s are very often over glorified because again most teams across Europe didn't play. Across Asia didn't play football. We especially had a football culture in Kolkata, in Hyderabad, in Bangalore. There was Goa came in sort of in the 50s and 60s. So therefore for me, these are things that have happened. So yeah, it's very difficult to sum it up. Sorry, sum it up. Uh, um, but to me is something that needs to change in the short, mid, and long term for Indian football to be and therefore yeah, let's wait. It's very difficult. I think it's a never Indian football has become a never ending story. Talking about things, and the biggest problem for me is across all levels is accountability. There is no accountability in Indian football.
Correct.
The players well played. Why don't we go abroad? Nas will get a lot of money. No competition, sports selection. Yeah, maybe that's one. And Arnav says 2011 Arrows batch has not only played football, but sustained. Sustain is very difficult art in any sport, especially in football. I agree, Arnav. I think if again there are Gurpreet is still playing. A lot of these guys are still playing sorry, ISL. If Dika and JJ hadn't sustained certain level of injuries, most probably those two would be playing as well. So therefore, these things are their realities, and yeah, I I think it's 7:31 here in Germany. Actually, I have to do something at 8 in regard to work. So Hiren, Shayan, thanks a lot for joining in. Hiren for staying longer, and Shayan, thanks for coming in. I think we'll do these. We'll do these during Euros. Continue, speak a little Euros, speak a little Indian football, and those of you who haven't, Ridhar, on Punjab FC, we spoke about it at the start of the show. So if you want to, you can listen to what I said or what Hiren said at the start of the show regarding Punjab FC and that exodus of players. And those of you who haven't, please subscribe to Curious Harry, Hiren's channel. Please subscribe to Indian Food and Football. I don't know if it's going to be when the change to Indian food will come, but I'm waiting for that change to happen. And jokes apart, so please follow Shine's channel, and also please follow Arun Foot as well. Support all of us, and we're trying to be doing shows as often as possible, as honest as possible as we are. And I know some of you have been asking about transfers. The market is relatively flat and quiet, so even the speculations have died out. Clubs have started to announce players who are signing for them, but again, when there is something interesting, oh, what a shot, Sheshko on the post. So Denmark is leading still 1-0 against Slovenia, and do
Brilliant
follow the
shot.
Euros.
Brilliant shot.
Brilliant shot from Sheshko, and of course Hiren's B team playing tonight against Serbia. So I think a lot of fans will be supporting Srpska tonight. And let's see if it's Shine and I have multiple times spoken about Schalke, and what an atmosphere it is. So I think the Euros tonight will get a feel of what the atmosphere in the arena of Schalke can be. And that's the goal equalizer. Slovenia with the equalizer, 1-1. Just
Great.
before finishing off, huh? So thanks, Hiren. Thanks, Shine.
Thank you.
1-1, 77 minutes. Enjoy the last few minutes, and we'll be back very, very soon here on my channel. Hiren is going to be doing his lives or his usual updates, kya ho raha, nahi ho raha, and Shine, of course, as well, shows on especially what's happening at East Bengal and the Kolkata clubs. Thank you, everyone. Good night, and see you very, very soon.
Good night, guys.
Good night.